From the main line in Pennsylvania, we've got a picture-perfect day at the Villanova Softball Complex, site of this week's Big East Softball Championship. 6 teams have made the journey here to the Keystone State. 1 will depart with a shiny trophy. The good times begin today with a triple header. Here's a look at the field, double elimination format, and a champion will be crowned on Saturday. Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Jettis alongside Nick Montaigne. So happy to be here this week. Nick, we get started with 5th-seeded Butler battling the number 4 seed Creighton. What a way to kick off all the fun.
Tons of offense, Janice, with these two clubs, both essentially setting single-season records for runs in a season. Creighton swept Butler during the regular season. The Blue Jays hit 6 homers in that series, and this is a rematch of last year's Big East tournament game where Butler had the lead, but Creighton came back to win.
Both of these teams with some confidence. Both of these teams, you can see the energy is high as they are being introduced here on the main line. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Butler. The Bulldogs 25-20 overall. They are 14-10 in conference. Kate Lehner, the right fielder, will lead it off. Haley Conger in center field bats second. Ella White, third baseman, hits third. Paige Dorson, who's been a mainstay, middle of the order at first base hitting cleanup. McKenna Alexander, DP's bats fifth. Olivia Moxley, the shortstop, will bat sixth. Sydney Carter, second baseman, hits seventh. Kylie Ryan does the catching, batting eighth. And Lee Vandehei, the left fielder, is kind of the second leadoff hitter for this Butler team. That lineup will face Kate Petron Kenzie Schofer for the Creighton Blue Jays, and for Creighton, Schofer really has come on second half of the season.
She's been their go-to pitcher, senior outside of the Kansas City area, and she's been very good this year. This entire league, Matt, can hit. There's no problem with the offense. My question this weekend, who gets the pitching? We talked with all the coaches this week about defense and a lot of ground balls in play. You'll see that. So the defenders have to be ready. I like what I've seen out of Schofer this year. Has a plus breaking ball. Will throw a rise and a drop as well. And if she pitches well in this series, Creighton has a big chance, a good chance, to bring home a trophy.
Schofer making her 30th appearance of the season, her 21st start. She has a 7-6 record and a 5.48 earned run average. She's gone the distance 4 times at 116 2/3 innings. Has yielded 127 hits, 80 runs, 71 of them earned. 66 strikeouts, but does struggle with walks from time to time. Has issued 59 free passes on the year and a 275 batting average again. She will try to set the tone today as the Big East Championship opening round ready to begin. First of 3 games here this afternoon at the Villanova Softball Complex. A rematch, as Nick mentioned, from a season ago, as it'll be Butler and Creighton to begin things. And one of the best batters in the Big East, Kate Lehner, will lead it off for the Bulldogs.
She has the most hits in a single season in Butler program history with 72 knocks this year.
And a Big East Softball Championship underway in 2025 as that one missing outside. Ball 1 to the left-handed hitting right fielder.
She hit .509 in April, Janice. What a month she's coming off of.
And coming in with so much confidence as a result. Fouls it straight back at a pretty good cut at that one. A big part of her game, Nick. Normally, she is a slapper, but when she cuts it loose, she's got a little pop.
Yeah, tremendous hitter. She's always been like that. An all-conference pick again. You just look at her numbers. She's been tremendous.
442 overall average, has driven in 11, bounces one to short, Pearson up with it, and a co-defensive player of the year. Throws out the speedy Lehner, 1 down to start this Big East Championship.
Back to Pearson's the best shortstop defensively in the conference. Easy play for her. Who has the better slapper? Is it Kate Lehner or Sidra Seville? Both are fast. Both get on base a lot. In fact, Kate Lehner broke the single-season biggest only hits record the other week, and then Sidra Seville broke Lehner's record last week. So how about the historic marks these kids are putting up this year?
They went back and forth all year long as Haley Conger fouling one away, third base side. Strike 1 to the center fielder. Conger has started 44 games this year, 286 average, 9 extra base hits. Top of the order might tell the tale today. That is one of the key things to watch. who has better success setting the table. Both of these teams like to take the extra base, very aggressive on the base paths and use their speed.
Krista Wood talked with us this week, and she said we have to limit the free passes. I think that's the obvious statement.
That's what lifted, foul, left field side, and a diving catch. Lynn Davis able to make the play, and what an effort. 2 down here in the first.
An unbelievably athletic play there by Lynn Davis, who went out with an injury when the Blue Jays were here to play Villanova back earlier in the season, as she had to be rushed to the hospital. Both she and Ella Dalton collided. It's good to see that those two kids quickly came back and they're healthy. And that's the great thing about this field. Almost everybody's healthy in here. This should be a great tournament.
Here's Ella White taking just off the outside corner ball walk. Well, that's one of the reasons why this Creighton coaching staff so keen on throwing strikes. Their defense so good across the board. If they can get the ball in play, they feel pretty good about fielding it, although that one sneaks past Erica Perez, and Peterson can't make the play. It's an infield single for Ella White, and celebrating her dad's birthday, pretty good present, an opening inning single.
Happy birthday, Pops, right? Ella White was all Big East last year. This year, this is such a good conference. Didn't get all conference, but it's getting line because this league is stacked, Janice, with hitters. There wasn't room for everybody, right? It's that good of a conference.
Especially in certain positions. There was a real log jam.
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
Paige Dorsett coming up for Butler and taking low and away.
Coach Scott Hall says Ella White's about as good a Bulldog player he's ever had. Maybe the best player in program history.
Meanwhile, Dorsett has been a mainstay middle of the order. A little bit of a down season this year. She takes upstairs, but a good sign here as she is selective. That's when she's had her best.
Started her career at Ball State. Kenzie Schofer started her career at Wichita State.
Popped up. That'll go back and out of play. So 2 balls and a strike to Dorsett.
That was the awesome breaking ball you saw there from Kenzie Schofer. Has tons of spin on it. She'll throw it inside the lefties and righties. Yeah, she'll use her rise ball, but she'll throw tons of breaking balls, and you saw a piece of it there.
Schofer, her second season with the Blue Jays, paints the outside edge and fights back level in the count. Meanwhile, Dorsett, you mentioned her time at Ball State. Spent her true freshman season there in 2021, but never played. And now in her 3rd season as a full-time starter for the Bulldogs, waves and misses. And that ends the top half of the first inning. The fireworks came for the Creighton defense. What a play in left field from Lynn Davis. The diving catch. And Butler goes down. Creighton defense made sure Butler did not score the top of the first. Now it's the Blue Jays' turn. We talked about Sidra Seville, how good she is at the top of the order. Meanwhile, the heart of the lineup for this Blue Jay offense, so potent. West, Schultz, and Potter in the middle. But the balance up and down, certainly something to reckon with for this Butler pitching staff today, as they will hand the ball to right-hander Kate Petra.
It's not a deep staff for Butler. They have a few injuries, which means they have to rely heavily on Katie Petrin, the sophomore out of Peoria. That's where Alyssa Graves was from. She was their old starter a few years back, who was one of the best they ever had. So kind of ditto with Schofer. If she has a good tournament, it'll be very key for Butler.
Seville, arguably the best punter in the Big East. Also good slap to off field. A true triple threat player. And she is ready to go, showing butt right away and taking a strike. Victor Canales calling the balls and strikes today. Dave Madden is our first base umpire. Don Bove at second base, and Brad White, third base umpire.
Who leads the Big East in hits, Matt? That's the question. Seville, Lehner, and Jess Bianco of St. John's. Now it's Seville.
Adds the total as she slaps it past the drawn-in third baseman Erica Perez, Ella White, and that is a leadoff single for Sidra Seville. Beg your pardon there. And for Creighton, that's one of the things. When you get Seville on base, now all of a sudden so much pressure placed on the shoulders of the opposing defensive pitcher, and that's exactly the blueprint.
She had an inside-the-park home run against Butler in the Big East tournament last year. After that 4-hour delay, it was a comeback for the Blue Jays.
Here's Ashton Pearson squaring to bunt, stabs at it, and a snap throw to first. Diving back to the bag is Seville. They'll actually say she pulled back. So ball one here to Pearson.
Scott Hall believes that Kylie Ryan is the best throwing catcher in the Big East, and I think Sidra Seville is the fastest player in the conference. Maybe Lexi Hastings is the fastest. Those two kids can absolutely burn.
And most teams will not run on Ryan. I think Creighton will. We'll see. Here's a bunt in the air. Ryan showing off the defensive prowess as she finds the ball and makes the catch for out number one.
It'll be key for Katie Petrin. She's dealt with a few injuries to pitch better against Creighton. Had a couple no decisions when the teams faced earlier this year. Has developed a changeup to complement her rise, her fastball. But she keeps the ball down so she can get ground balls.
Here's Lily West. Her third straight season with 50-plus hits, and she adds to the total here. Going gapping to right center. Conger races over to cut it off. They're going to wave around Seville. Relay throw is high, but she's able to dive around. The pitcher trying to apply the tag, and Creighton on the board first. It's 1-0.
Lily West might be the best hitting catcher. I think she shows why. Kid out of Oklahoma City, big-time recruit. One of Krista Wood's best recruits when she got the Creighton job. That was left up that time. So easy, gap to gap there. And Butler had a little bit of trouble with it in the outfield. And then the cutoff throw sailed wide. And that's why Seville was able to score on that. If the throw was on target, they might have gotten her.
It was interesting. Seville stopped. I think she was trying to avoid getting hit in the noggin there. That's what froze me as a foul straight back from Kaylin Schultz. But Lily West, an RBI double, getting Creighton on the board first. And then it turned into an interesting dance near the plate.
All Big East pick is Lily West, as she's had a sensational year.
In the air, center field. Conger drifting back is there. Tagging at second base is West, but she won't go anywhere. And that's out number 2 here in this opening frame.
So this is where you get the thunder in the order for Creighton. And they've hit a ton of homers this year, Matt. With Kaylin Schultz, as she's gotten healthier, and Sydney Potter has emerged as one of the best power sticks in the entire country. What a week she had last week. One big homer after another. She hit 10 homers against the Big East this year.
Chance to establish a new school record. She has 58 RBIs on the season. One more, and she's alone atop the program record books. Fouls that one straight back. Pretty good cuts here in this opening inning from the Creighton offense.
Well, she kept hitting on home runs last week, and I was watching their Seton Hall series, so they started to walk her because she had 5 home runs last week and 9 walks because she was hitting everything out of the yard. They were basically just giving her Barry Bonds treatment.
4th in the Big East in long ball, 6th in total bases, taking downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike to the Iowa native.
Yeah, the single season records that are being broke by a lot of these kids for their respective clubs, hits in a season, RBIs in a season. A ton of the kids are smashing the RBI single season records. It's elite talent we have this weekend.
Off the glove of Ryan, that'll go to the backstop. Takes a big ricochet up the first baseline. She has to hustle after it. West moves up to third.
It's a wild pitch. The ball just sailed and got away from Katie Petrin.
Hitter's count here for Potter. And 2 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman.
And most teams are starting to stay away from Sydney Potter because she's on a tear right now. And she broke out of a funk last year in the Big East tournament, and she had a couple of big hits against the Bulldogs in that comeback win.
Looking for a little two-out magic. Already up a run. We're in the first. And she rips one over short into left field for a base hit. West comes in to score. Sydney Potter, an RBI single. She's the new Creighton single season record holder, number 59 on the year.
Second in the Big East and runs batted in coming into the tournament. She's been on an absolute tear, Matt. What a run over the last week plus, over the last month. She has been one of the best hitters in the entire conference in that span.
Ella Dalton fouls one back and out of play, strike one. So now the question is, how does Butler settle in? Especially their sophomore right-hander. 46 starts over her first two seasons, so certainly not a newcomer to the circle. But a big stage for her as that one is yanked foul, right field side, and it'll drift out of play. It's 220 here to dead center. And the Villanova softball complex, 200 down the line to left and right. You see the dirt infield and then a turf outfield.
When we talked with Scott Hall, Matt, he said we need to limit the walks. Well, Katie Petra's throwing strikes, but Creighton's hitting them right now.
Upstairs, a ball and two strikes as she could not get the chase.
Some of these offenses this year are historic. With the amount of runs St. John's and UConn have scored, Villanova, their most homers in a season, Creighton smashing records. We could see some offense this weekend. I'm not surprised.
That one fouled away. Well, certainly a fast start for Creighton. 2 runs in this opening inning. And able to hit the ball to all fields. And that's one of the things about this Blue Jays attack. They've got the home run power, but they've also got the gap-to-gap threats to go along with that speed.
They make great contacts, and it's been a terrific year for Krista Wood's bunch.
Trying for the outside corner, went a tad too far outside, so the count level's 2-2.
You look what they did in Big East play, 179 runs against the conference for Creighton's offense this year. That's the most they've ever scored in a conference season in any league they've ever been in their history.
Dalton rolls one foul first base side, so still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good battle here from Ella Dalton, who's a 280 hitter. Her 46th start of the season. She's got 13 extra base hits, including 3 homers, and has driven in 19.
Creighton's the hottest team in the conference right now. They've won 13 out of their last 15 Big East games, Matt, to make the Big East tournament.
Liner down the line again, and it hooks foul, so still 2-2.
To me, it's the teams with the most momentum. That's what sticks out. You think about the Mets, what they did last year, making the playoffs. They had all the hot momentum. It's very similar to what Creighton has. They've been on a great run over the last few weeks.
Denver got off to a really slow start in Big East play, but stuck together, turned things around, and they feel awful good about themselves coming in. A swing and a miss finally ends this opening frame, but not before the Blue Jay offense strikes. They score a pair thanks to RBI hits from Lily West and Sydney Potter. After 2-0, Creighton leads. It is Creighton off to the early 2-0 lead in this 4-5 matchup opener of this Big East softball championship. We've got 3 games today, 3 games tomorrow. Double elimination format. Remember, loser of this first game will have to play again later this afternoon and face elimination. Butler's got some work to do, but a lot of time to get that work in. McKenna Alexander will lead off the second and takes a strike on the outside corner. Alexander, the sophomore, 262 hitter, 9 homers, 30 ribbies, 17 extra base hits for the Bulldogs. And that one rolls into left for a base hit. Hustling over to cut it off is Davis, but a leadoff single for Alexander. And that's exactly what you're looking for if you're Butler after the 2-run first.
Don't get down on yourself at all. There's still a long game to go. Everybody can score runs in this conference. You have to be confident in yourself. Pitch was left a little bit up in the zone there. Easy swing for McKenna Alexander. And Schofer left it up.
So here comes Olivia Moxley, shortstop righty hitter. See if Butler sticks with the small ball. Down 2, they will. Show of bunt and pulling back to take a strike. And that is the Bulldogs' MO. They love to play small ball, move runners, and just kind of scratch and claw their way.
They want to be a menace, cause chaos, as Scott Hall puts it. They do it successfully every year, and it's their identity, and they play to it very well.
Moxley did not square that time, 1-1. How much fun was it to listen to him talk about watching other games and yelling at the TV, but come on, move somebody.
It's because I think he wants everybody else to do it, but that's what makes it fun, that everybody has a different style.
She squares, gets it down, a good one. Potter picks it up, will go to second, and it's late. So an aggressive play from Sydney Potter, and it does not pay off. And Butler has 2 on with nobody out in the second.
Potter maybe was thinking that she could get the lead runner, but the safe, easy play is just to go to first on that. You have a lead if you're Creighton. I think Potter should have gone to first with it. I think she probably, in hindsight, would have realized it.
Not because she was playing so shallow. She got on that ball so fast. You could see why she thought second base would be the play, but you are 100% right. Big rip comes up empty from Sydney Carter. Strike 1 to the second baseman.
Sydney Carter, big-time recruit, and this is her best year ever. And Scott Hall said she's finally relaxed and settled in, and she's having the most fun of her career.
Stabs at it, misses, all bounces away from West, and the runners will move up. Alexander to third, Moxley to second, and Butler a chance to pull even right away.
So that works as a bunt, essentially, Matt.
That does not necessarily mean that Carter won't be bunting here. He'll bunt in every situation imaginable. Taking outside. And a ball and 2 strikes to Carter.
Oh, this is the perfect time to squeeze, but Krista Wood knows that, so the defense has crept in just a little bit to make sure.
Perez cheating hard at third. Potter even with the bag at first. And that one, wow. Good eye from Carter. Feels like situational softball going to be so important this week, particularly an offense like Butler. Got to get these runners in. There's that one lifted, foul, and out of play. Anytime you have a chance to score a run without a hit, as Scott Hall alluded to this week, we've got to do the little thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get hits. It's just about getting on base and getting them in. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Full count, great eye here from Carter. There is a base open. Connie Ryan waits on deck. Nobody out in his second inning.
Creighton staff, they've walked the most kids of any staff in the conference, and Krista Wood said, Nick, we need to eliminate the walks. I think that's pretty evident.
Such an important thing. They're so good defensively as a payoff. In the air, center field. And actually cutting in front will be Davis. She makes the catch. Tagging from third base is Alexander. She'll score. Scampering up to third goes Moxley. And Butler's on the board. It's a 2-1 game.
I think a little bit of a communication issue there between the third baseman, Erica Perez, and the catcher, Lily West. Perez should have cut that ball off so the runner couldn't have got to third, or maybe they could have gotten the runner at third that time. I don't think they were going to get her at the plate that time. It wasn't hit that deep, but she came around and scored easily. I would have gone to the runner at third that time, Matt.
A little tougher play there for Davis in left center. She was going to her left, wasn't really squared up to catch and throw. Here's Connie Ryan, and fouls away the first pitch for strike 1.
And there was a little chat there between Erica Perez and Lily West about being on the same page in terms of who's responsible for hitting the cutoff. Should Erica Perez have taken more initiative to cut that off? Should the left fielder and Lynn Davis actually thrown to third to hit Erica Perez?
Communication so important as that is sitting downstairs. 1-1 to Ryan, who's known more for her defense, but has improved offensively. 242 average. 4 extra base hits, has driven in 6. Chance to pad that total with a runner at third, 1 out, and her team down a run here in the second inning.
How important is that run? Well, you get a runner to third base with less than 2 outs, so a ground ball or a fly ball could tie the game. So throwing to the right bag in this inning, already an issue for Creighton.
Infield, halfway up the middle, hard in at the corners, especially Perez, who's almost halfway down the third baseline, as that one is foul, third base side.
Again, you see the excellent breaking ball, Matt, by Kenzie Schofer. She'll throw it inside and outside to both lefties and righties. When she's on, it's a very good pitch.
And she has been on a lot down the stretch. Won her final 7 decisions and had a save in there since April the 1st. Check swing went too far. She gets a strikeout. Critical time for her first K of the day and a huge second out of this second inning.
That's a big second out. You nailed it, Matt. Now it's 2 outs. That runner stays at third. There's not a lot of swing and miss pitchers in this conference outside of those 2 St. John's starters, which means you'll see balls in play. So the more strikeouts you get by the rest of the hurlers in this conference, it's big time.
Here's Lee Vanderhaar. Now to slap one past the drawn-in left side, taking upstairs for ball 1. You could see her looking left side the whole way.
Yeah, she's had a big year. Scott Hall has been very proud of her development, and she's like a mini leadoff hitter as the number 9 kid.
Average all the way up to 352 as she pops one foul out of play towards the Butler fans, third base side, and it's 1-1. Vanderhaar's on-base percentage at .416 as well. Really has improved in every facet of her game offensively.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these kids, like Scott Hall said, they've settled down, they've relaxed.
2 balls and a strike.
They've all worked on their games. Everybody works hard. We all know that. But the intangibles in a conference tournament, what's the difference? Defense. We talked a lot about it with these coaches, right? Making the right decisions in the field.
Catches the corner, and it's 2-2, and we didn't have to ask about it. They were bringing it up to us. It was the first topic on the tip of all the coaches' tongues. As you see Scott Hall, a decade and a half in charge of this Butler program. What a job he has done in Indiana. Trying to get this game tied as that one tapped on the ground towards short. On the charge, Pearson gets the out. Beautifully done, and she shows her defensive prowess yet again. Butler on the board, but strands the tying run at third base after an inning and a half. Blue Jays up 1.
With steady wings, Blue Jays fly. With bright minds and curious hearts, they discover their path and soar to new heights. They uncover new research and explore new horizons. At Creighton University, Blue Jays find their perch side by side and take flight, ready to lead the world around them.
Butler stands for a lot of things, except standing still.
Bottom half of the second inning, a little of a softball complex on the main line in Pennsylvania. Action-packed start to this Big East softball championship. Opening game of 3 today. It's a 4-5 matchup as Creighton leading Butler 2-1. Blue Jay offense back to work. Bottom of the order, 2 up. Erica Perez, third baseman, and lefty stick will lead it off. And time asked for by the Butler battery. It was quite the journey here to the East Coast for Butler. They were supposed to leave on Monday, but travel delays. Mother Nature just would not cooperate with the Bulldogs.
6 or 7 hours at the airport Monday, and then they got to Philly on Tuesday. And they got a chance to rest, get their finals done with, play ball.
That one fouled back, and it wasn't just that. When they got to the airport in Philadelphia, they were missing bags as well. So a long pause inside the airport, trying to find the baggage. Then finally, the 30-minute drive from Philly International Airport out here to the main line. They missed their practice time, but they were able to move the logistics around to get them on the field yesterday evening. As it's 2 balls and a strike to Perez. That's an awful lot on your plate right before your biggest games of the season.
As long as they got the team dinner in, right? I'd just be hungry. That'd be my only concern.
Well, they kept a very good attitude about us. Impressed by Scott Hall. Just got a rolling with the punches. As that one grounded up the middle and rolls into center field for a base hit. And Erica Perez picking up right where the Blue Jays left off in the opening inning.
When these teams played earlier this season, Erica Perez had a go-ahead grand slam in the 6th inning in a comeback win for Creighton. It was off of Katie Petrin. So they meet again. I think this is a little bit better for the other team, right? Just a single.
Well, the Creighton offense had all kinds of fireworks during that regular season series. They had 3 different players driving 5 runs in a game as a swing and a miss from Hannah Poole.
Sydney Potter and Caitlin Schultz each had grand slams in the 19-5 win.
Big cut comes up empty. Strike 2 to Poole. Second baseman hitting at .294. 6 doubles, 5 homers, has driven in 17.
She had a grand slam last week herself against Kansas City.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Creighton's offense very good with 2 strikes, Nick. Really up and down the order. They'll strike out a lot, but they also put together a lot of 2-strike at-bats.
We said this offense is historic, having an unbelievable year. Their .302 batting average is the 2nd in single-season history.
In the air. Near second base, Moxley immediately takes charge, fights the sun, and makes the catch for out number 1. So now Lynn Davis, 9-hole hitter. Actually, we have a different body coming for Avery Barnard. Got a bat here for Creighton. Remember, you can depart and return once over the course of the game. Davis already has made a magnificent play in left field. And now it'll be Barnard taking the at-bat here. And lifts it in the air. Shallow center. Racing in. Conger able to make the grab. So that didn't take long. Quickly 2 down. Nice bounce back here from Petrin after the leadoff single from Perez.
Krista Wood has been a great coach. Did a wonderful job at South Dakota State for 8 years. 3-time Summit Coach of the Year. And look what she's done with Creighton in just a couple of years. They're having a couple of awesome back-to-back seasons. Made it all the way to the Big East title game last year.
Now Sidra Seville, who got things started with a single, scored in that opening inning. Already her 2nd trip to the plate, and she takes upstairs.
The numbers she's put up this year, they've just been spectacular. Just incredible. 24th in the country in hits. She gets on base a ton. She had that long 18-game hitting streak earlier in the year. She's basically assured to get on base every single game.
She does against Big East competition as she takes a strike. Now 38 straight that she has gotten on base in Big East play. She has a hit in 37 of those contests. Remarkable consistency.
Yeah, hitting .468 against the Big East this year is Sidra Seville.
And works the count 2-1. And that's the other thing about her. She's so patient up there. She'll show exactly what a pitcher has on a given day. She had a 15-pitch at-bat earlier this season to get a game started against Nebraska.
She didn't hit much earlier in her career, but boy, the last 2 years, she's exploded.
Foul back and out of play, 2-2. and oozing with confidence right now, understandably so. When you're getting on base 50% of the time, I'd be confident as well. But, you know, in a game that is really predicated on overcoming failure, she's finding a way to kind of flip the percentages. Got to shorten up here, though, with 2 outs and a 2-2 count. And the count goes full as she lays off, low and away.
Sidra Seville was on the All-Big East tournament team last year. She had a really good conference tournament, going 7 for 15 last year in the conference tourney with 4 runs scored.
Blue Jays played really well, got to the championship game, lost to the host Villanova squad. This one rolled up the middle, diving try, but Moxley can't get there. And another 2-out hit for Creighton.
So as we said, Sidra Seville's taken over the conference lead in hits because they get to play first in the day. And so does Kate Lehner, but Sidra Seville is 2 for 2, Matt.
Only fitting that those two would square off on this championship stage, and that is a prototypical Sidra Seville swing to stay back and hit them where they aim. Now it's Ashton Pearson. Tried to bunt, popped it up to the catcher her first time, and behind the count, 0-1. Give credit to the Butler righty here. Doing a good job throwing strikes early and counts their certain.
Yeah, Butler's staff walked a lot of Blue Jays. Scott Hall was telling us the first time around when these teams played. Pearson had a 4-for-4 day in one of the games against Butler.
Pops it up into shallow left on the retreat. Moxley can't get there. It drops in. The throw goes to third. Sliding in safely, Seville. Perez comes around to score, and now they'll say she came off the bag, and Seville is out at third base. The run counts, but the inning has come to an end.
Butler could not make that play in the no man's land. They threw to the right base. I thought Seville beat it out. I think she has a case. And they do have replay. Each coach gets 2 challenges.
It was a hesitant call there from Brad White, and they will go to review.
Yeah, Butler did everything right there, throwing to the correct bag. They weren't going to get the runner at home. But I thought Seville, with her speed, I thought she was safe easily, unless she came off of the plate. I think that's what they're looking at.
I assume that would be the call as late as it came from Brad White. The umpires confer, and we'll check to see if anybody had a better view before they go to the replay.
And this is a big call because the meat of the order is due up, Matt. You have West, Schultz, and Potter 2 up with 2 on potentially, and this could turn into a very, very dangerous spot for Butler. If the Bulldogs get this call, this is big.
Let's watch it again. Good piece of hitting from Pearson. Moxley did all she could to go get it, but just out of her reach. And the play here comes at third base. And unfortunately, the play was expected to come at home, so we don't have a great look at it. Our Big East Digital crew, which came out bright and early today on a beautiful afternoon at this Villanova softball complex, but with the sun out, proved some challenges to the setup, and what a job everybody did to get everything ready. So much work goes on behind the scenes to get us set for an event like this.
It's a shame we don't have another look at it there, and but they'll get plenty of looks below to try and find the call.
So it is confirmed she is out at third base. But the run scores. And it's 3-1. Creighton leads as we head to the third inning.
No errors. 1 left.
Softball is brought to you by Invesco QQQ. I'm Matt Janis alongside Nick Montaigne, our entire Big East Digital Network crew. First of 3 games today, opening day of the Big East Softball Championship from the Villanova Softball Complex on the main line in Pennsylvania. It is 4th-seeded Creighton out to the early 3-1 lead on Butler. Nick, you can't ask for a better day than this. We've had rain for almost a week straight and heavy rain in this area, but skies have parted for us today.
The weather looks really good this week, Matt. and we're in store for great competition, and Creighton's making great contact so far.
Hey, you called it coming into the day. Obviously, this Blue Jay offense has been putting numbers up left and right, and they came in with confidence, and that confidence has paid off early. A show of Butler pulling back and taking outside for ball one. Top of the order, 2 up for the Bulldogs. Lehner, Conger, and White coming plateward. Bouncer to the shortstop again. Pearson makes it look so easy out there. And Lehner retired 6-3 for the second time in as many ABs.
Krista Wood has said in all her years coaching, Ashton Pearson's the best defender she's ever seen. She makes it look that easy. She's slick. She can make the sensational play and the routine one as well.
Conger lifts it in the air, left center field, charging over Dalton. Able to come to the ground and make the grab. 2 away. Hard to find an opening against this Creighton defense.
You know, you only get to nominate one Defensive Player of the Year nominee per team, but I'll tell you, Ella Dalton's a really good outfielder defensively. She doesn't get a ton of credit, but she can track down a lot of ground in the outfield.
Second year is a full-time starter. First team All-Big East selection a season ago. Here's Ella White. Leg down, an infield single on a sharply hit ball her first time, and ahead of the count, 1 ball, no strikes.
I want to see if they start attacking more like you saw there so they don't fall behind in the count too much as Kenzie Schofer's getting on a roll.
When Schofer finds a rhythm, look out as that one's turned on foul. And a ball and a strike here to White.
Now, the other flip of the coin is that Creighton's kids walk a lot of people. Maybe you're patient. I think it just depends on Kenzie Schofer. If she's finding the strike zone, Butler will have to attack early in the count.
One of the things that Schofer has really learned over the course of her career, how to manage counts, when to attack, when to nibble. Falls behind here, 2-1. As the Creighton coaching staff talked about this, we kind of seeing the forest through the trees of when you got to try to get an out and when you've got to be smart about a situation. As she comes back level at 2-2.
Excellent pitch that time. Kenzie Schofer bringing her breaking ball. She's spotting it, and she's been accurate today, and she's throwing strikes on the corners.
Early in her career, she was just out there attacking everybody. Now, the walk numbers have gone up as a result. Looking for that outside corner there, unable to find it, and a full count.
Not everything on the corner has been a strike so far, so a little hitter-friendly, you might argue, Matt.
Scoreboard plays that out. 3-1. Creighton leads. We're in the third. 2 out, bases empty, and a 2-out free pass drawn by Ella White. And that's exactly the type of approach Butler needs. Base runners. That's the strength of this Bulldog attack. They need traffic on the base paths to try to create that havoc Scott Hall talked about.
Not only does Ella White have the most RBIs in program history, that's her 113th walk. She's already broken the walks record. Give her another one.
Just keeps padding the total. Dorsett grinds one fair inside the bag at third, headed for the left field corner. Good job to cut it off from Davis. Stopping at second base is White. And there are 2 on with 2 down. I beg your pardon. That is still Barnard out there in left field. She stayed in the game.
Number 17, Alexander.
Low pitch by Schofer. Great job there by Dorsett. Just go down and get it. And you get a lucky break. Bounces down the line fair.
So we saw Creighton come through with 2-out magic in both the first and second innings. Butler getting this rally jump started with 2 outs. But Alexander coming up empty. Strike 1. He scored the only run for the Bulldogs so far. Single, jump started. An opportunity in the second inning for Butler.
Looked like she threw her a changeup right in the middle of the plate to start the count.
That's in there. Strike 2. What a bounce back here from Schofer.
Yeah, hard, sharp breaking ball she throws. Lily West is a great receiver, tough as nails, talking with Krista Wood.
Could not get a chase. 1 ball to 2 strikes.
Yeah, when I watched Chauffeur pitch this year and calling some of her games, her velocity is, I think, a lot better than people realize. She has good stuff. It really snaps.
She won't overwhelm you, but she can bring it when she needs it and can pitch with guile as well. As this one lined off her body, ricochets to first base, and they get the out. It looks like Chauffeur got the glove up. She's all smiles, and Butler done in, unlucky in the top of the third. Great contact, but better reflexes from Chauffeur. After 2.5, it's Creighton up by 2. Bottom half of the third inning, this Big East Softball Championship opener. It's Creighton leading Butler 3-1. Weird play. And the top half of the third inning. Hard contact off the bat of McKenna Alexander, but quick reflexes from Kenzie Chauffeur. And Sydney Potter able to pick it up and get out of the inning. There's a pop-up to Dorsett. And what a catch, turned around on the awkward retreat, able to somehow make the play for out number 1.
That's a really big out to get Lily West on basically a pitch. Kind of pulled her on a breaking ball there to start the inning. And I got it. I don't got it. Oh, wait, I got it.
It is a clean out in the scorebook. Here comes West, roped an RBI double her first time up. And taking downstairs, ball 1. And that's the challenge about facing this Creighton lineup. There's no deep breaths for a long stretch in this batting order.
Especially the emergence of Kaylin Schultz. She came back at the start of Big East play from her injury in the offseason.
This one sliced down the line. It'll go foul, 1-1.
9 games last year, then a season ending the injury, committed to play for Krista at South Dakota State, and then transfers to Creighton to be with Krista. Injured last year, and look what she's done. 12 homers, awesome season. She's gotten hot at the right point of the season.
And Schultz taking high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Talking about that injury, really seemed to give her a little bit of a different perspective about softball. As that one missing inside, 3 balls and a strike. Game had always come so easy to her. She'd always excelled, and to have it taken away for a little while, not by choice, made her realize how much she actually enjoyed playing the game. And she has really taken advantage of every opportunity since her return. Pops this one a mile high right side. Gardner finally making the grab after it descends from the heavens for out number 2.
These balls are in the middle of the plate, so Lee Scott Hall is having Katie Petrin, and give credit to Petrin. She's throwing strikes. Creighton was making contacts about a half hour ago, and now they seem to be fooling them with breaking balls.
There's Sydney Potter, set the Creighton program record with her 59th run batted in, her first time up. A 2-out RBI single in the first. Part of a 2-run opening inning for Creighton. They have led the whole way on top 3-1 as it's 1 ball, no strikes to the first baseman.
How big was that call when they reviewed it last inning? Or else the meat of the order is up, and you don't want to face Sydney Potter and Schultz and West with runners on base. And getting Lily West out to start this inning, just paramount for Butler to take some momentum back, because you'd rather face Potter with nobody on, obviously.
No doubt about it. Interesting time for a visit from Scott Hall. He comes with 2 outs and the bases empty. Mid-at-bat, must have seen something there from his right.
Well, Potter had homered in 4 straight till Sunday. She's been on an absolute tear, as we talked about. You have to be uber careful to Sydney Potter at this point in the season.
Coaching staff talking about how much confidence she's playing with right now. Looks at a heater on the outer half for strike 1.
I think Petrin's starting to hit her spots, find her groove.
Similar spot, maybe a tad further outside. And the hitters count for Potter at 2-1.
And she keeps the ball down. You could call Katie Petrin a down pitcher, throws those low breaking balls. She's hitting her corners all of a sudden. She's developed a little bit of a changeup.
Check swing, she went. Strike two.
Yeah, down pitcher, as we said, keeps the ball down. That's what she needs to do. Creighton hits a lot of homers. You're looking at one of them with Sydney Potter. If you're Butler, keep Potter in the yard.
Looking for her first clean inning of the day after starting 2 in the first and 1 in the second. And a liner to short, caught by Moxley. That's a 1-2-3 third. Well done from Kate Trump. We go to the fourth. 3-1. Creighton leading Butler.
At the end of 3, Green Bay's 3, Bulldogs 1.
Top half of the fourth inning, Butler trailing 3-1. Bulldog offense back to work here against Kenzie Chauffeur. Chauffeur just happy to be okay after the comebacker. Got her glove up just in time and got a big out there, wiggling her way out of a tight spot in the third.
You need some bounces as it ricocheted right to Sydney Potter at first.
There's Olivia Moxley taking downstairs, ball one.
I love what Krista Wood told us about Kenzie Chauffeur. She came to Krista and said, I will be the leader. I will be the ace of the staff to take control. And Chauffeur's pitched well the second half of the season.
2 balls, no strikes. I mean, she was at one point removed from the rotation. She got off to such a slow start, although the coaching staff said, it wasn't all her fault. She was kind of the victim of circumstance at times as well. But 7-0 in her last 7 decisions since April 1. But behind the count here, 3-0.
3 wins in the sweep over Butler.
That'll certainly buoy your confidence against an opponent coming into the postseason. In there for strike 3-1.
Let's see if Moxley can get on base. Chauffeur's been throwing strikes, but you see Moxley getting ahead. I wonder if she gets a take sign just to try and get a base runner.
And ball 4, 5-pitch free pass. Only the second walk of the day doled out from Chauffeur, but lead off base runner from Butler, and that's when they're at their most dangerous.
All right, so do you take the bat out of Sydney Carter's hands because she's had such a good year hitting? Or is it Scott Hall? He bunts, and it's a ball game. It's not a blowout, right? They're only down by 2. Play your style. Let's see what he does.
Plenty of outs left to work with. Only the 4th inning, down by 2. If you can cut this deficit in half, you're right there. We'll see, though. Carter does square, stabs and misses for strike 1. She rolled in a run her first time with a sac fly RBI. Fun part about Scott Hall is not only does he have a philosophy and does he wholeheartedly believe in said philosophy, but he's going to stick with it no matter what, as that one's outside. A lot of times you'll see a coach, this is our mantra, but there's a little wiggle room within that mantra, and not for this Butler program. They do what they do.
Yeah, and it's annoying to play against because as an infield defense, you have to hustle in and make all these plays.
Bunt is down. It goes to third. Perez gets the runner. Second time, Creighton's gotten aggressive. This one pays off. And the sacrifice attempt no good for Sydney Carter.
What a play by Erica Perez. She was determined to get the lead runner. It didn't work out, of course, when they tried it a couple innings ago, but she was more decisive, and you see the arm. Even with her feet not set, she makes a heck of a throw there.
Actually got a little bit of a late break from first base. Scott Hall talking to her. She went back to the Butler dugout. Not sure if she thought that one was in the air. As that's in the air, foul it out of play off the bat of Kylie Ryan. So 1 out, still the runner at first. Butler down by 2 in this 4th inning. Bulldogs just trying to build a little momentum after Creighton jumped on them right away. And jumping on Ryan here is Chauffeur 0-2.
Kylie Ryan played softball with Scott Hall's daughter, so they all know each other very well, Matt.
Yeah, pretty cool. He said, watched the kid since she was pre-teens and watched her intangibles. She had to be part of the program. As a snap throw to first, sends Carter back to the bandstand. Also, a little easier to get to know a kid when you know somebody inside the locker room. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Chauffeur. Both have been against Kylie Ryan, and that's 2 down in the 4th inning.
Chauffeur's had some swing and miss stuff today. She's throwing her rise ball a little bit. She's throwing plenty of breaking balls.
So now Lee Van de High. Grounded out to short her first time. Perez thinking bunt. They slap her direction. What a grab! Snow cone catch by Perez to end this top half of the 4th. Wow! Projecting against the bunt. The quick reflexes. And the glove got just high enough as she held on for dear life. On a hot day on the main line, nothing will refresh you better than a snow cone. The catch ends the inning. Halfway through the opener of this Big East Softball Championship, bottom 4, Creighton 4 seed, leading 5th seeded Butler 3-1. Loser of this one still has more business to attend to later today, as they will play the loser of our next contest, as it will be Villanova against Providence to follow a triple header today here at Big East Softball.
Remember, the winner gets Anna Serafinko and St. John's tomorrow, right? Good luck. As the pitcher of the year in the conference, she has the most swing and miss stuff of any pitcher in the league. And to me, that's the separating factor of this entire field is Serafinko's pitching.
Ella Dalton, a strikeout victim her first time. Takes on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to the left fielder.
And we've asked these coaches, Matt, about how long a lot of these pitchers will go. Can they throw back-to-back days? The answer is yes. All hands on deck.
Liner into right for a base here. So leadoff single for Ella Dalton. And Creighton just continues to put runners on base.
Ella Dalton went 6 for 8 and with 5 RBIs in the sweep over Butler earlier this year. She was an all-conference pick. So Creighton's loaded. This is a monster offense for Krista. Her team's in South Dakota State every year, hit tons of homers. She's just continued that at Creighton.
Here's Perez, made the great defensive play to end last inning. Singleton scored her first time up. And takes low and away, ball 1. I mentioned Dalton. It's interesting because she has had a little bit of a down year, at least number-wise, but the coaches talk about how proud of her they were that she didn't let it impact her defense. And then she has come through in some big spots at the plate, as it's 2 balls and no strikes to Perez.
Grand slam against Butler off of Katie Petrin. Go-ahead shot in the 6th.
Outfield plays deep across the board. Ball really jumps here at the Villanova softball complex, especially on a warmer day as Agnes is downstairs. And it's 3-0 here to Perez.
Katie Petrin only pitched 2/3 of an inning in one of the games against Creighton this year. She went 3+ with 5 hits and 5 runs allowed in one of the other games. So both clubs are familiar with each other, obviously.
And this is high, so a 4-pitch free pass. First of the game issued by the righty. And there's 2 on, nobody out for Hannah Poole.
I still think that Scott Hall has to be quite happy that Katie Petrin's come out and battled and thrown strikes pretty well. Now, Creighton was making good contact earlier in the game, and Petrin, I think, has started to figure some things out. But walks will eventually kill you against an elite offense like Creighton.
Creighton coaching staff has come together here, talked a little strategy, see if we get a new hitter. Now they're talking to Poole, so it looks like she will stay out there.
Man, I saw this last week where the team huddled. You can always give signs, but I think in a championship, right, where there's less margin for error, it's good to actually talk about it just so you don't mess up the signals.
And not only that, that was a full conversation with the coaches in the dugouts. I think they wanted to talk about exactly how they want to play this one. 2 on, nobody out, 2-run lead. Do you go for the crooked number to blow this one open, or do you play small ball to try to extend the lead?
We'll find out right now.
Poole popped out her first time up. Butler expecting bunt. She obliges, gets down a good one. Pitcher makes the play to first, but the sacrifice is good. Dalton to third. Perez at second. Only 1 out. Now we're going to get a runner here for Creighton.
It's Reese Ramus.
So Ramus will go in at second base to run for Perez. Talking to people around this Creighton team, she can fly. Here's Barter. Swings through first pitch, strike 1. She entered in the second inning, flat out to center her first time up after Lynn Davis got the start in left. Creighton coaches trying to get a little defense early before her turn came up in the order. And that played out pretty well. She made a great catch in the very first inning in left field. In the air, shallow right, charging hard laner. She gets there. Bluff of his tag, but then she was not going to go, but the throw got away, and it's 4-1 Creighton.
So second time today when Butler's thrown to the plate, the throw has been offline. That's where the first baseman in Paige Dorsett needs to come over and cover the plate. So good backup by Kylie Ryan, the catcher, but nobody there to make the play.
So back to the top, and Seville taking a strike. That's one where maybe Petrin, the pitcher, behind Ryan can tell her, I'm there, stay at home. Once she dove, there was nobody left to cover.
Or it's on the pitcher to get behind there, correct. One or the other. It's about communicating.
Out in front, nice off-speed pitch, 0-2.
I know defense sounds boring, Matt, but the coaches agree. I've caught a lot of games in the past month where in the Big East, a lot of plays aren't being made, which has led to runs. They've been critical errors.
It's a part of the game that sometimes you take for granted, but especially in the postseason, you're right, so important. As that one missing outside. A ball and 2 strikes to Seville, who's been such a tough out today. Has singled twice and scored a run.
And that's not an error, but it's about the fundamentals and being in the right position, making the right decisions.
Ramus at third. The 1-2. Grounder up the middle. Pass. Moxley into center. Another hit for Seville. This one scores a run, and it's 5-1 Blue Jays.
The one walk comes around to hurt you. Creighton plays a little Butler ball with the bunting to get the sac fly. You turn the lineup over for Cedric Seville, who's just been on a tear this season.
Her two-strike approach is insane. There's that one missing against Ashton Pearson, who drove in a run with a single last inning.
When you get 2 out hits in a Big East tournament, they loom very large, Matt.
And Creighton has done it over and over again today. Runner breaks, pitches popped up into foul ground, and Dorsett there to end the inning, but not before Creighton strikes for 2 more runs. A pair of sacrifices in the inning and a big 2-out hit. Blue Jays up 4 as we head to the 5th in this Big East Championship opener. Inning, Butler all of a sudden has a big deficit. Creighton fans love it. 4-run lead for the Blue Jays. Good news for Butler. They have the top of the order due up. Got to get Kate Lehner going. She has grounded out twice. The one spot you don't want to hit it in the infield against Creighton. Both times to shortstop sensation Ashton Pearson. Is that one missing outside from Kenzie Schofer?
That's the difference, Matt. Cedric Seville is 3 for 3. Kate Lehner is 0 for 2.
Contact has been about the same. Problem is you can't hit it to Pearson. So this time she pulls the ball and pops it up, and she hits it to Seville. It's funny how that always works out. 1 down in the 5th frame.
Yeah, if you keep the table setters off the bases, that's an easy one. We all know that. It's going to work out for any pitcher. And Creighton has gotten the big hits so far, Matt. They're 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Butler is 0 for 3 to start today.
Here's Haley Conger. Has flied out twice, once to left, once to center, takes outside. Nick, I know you love Big East softball. You spent as much time as anybody watching this league. How much fun was it to watch Lehner and Seville go toe-to-toe all season as a race for the record books?
We talked to Laura Valentino, the UConn coach, yesterday. We said they should have a foot race the day before the tournament and a home run derby. My money's on Sydney Potter because she's on a tear right now. But Miranda Runco hit a ton of homers last week for Villanova. And obviously Grace Jenkins, Player of the Year, led the league in homers.
That one lifted to left. Playing perfect was Barnard. She made the catch. And 2 down in the 5th.
Could you go yard in this field?
I could not go yard at my son's T-ball park, if we're being honest, at this stage of my life, Nick.
Yeah, well, my money's on Grace Jenkins and Runco and Potter, those big sluggers.
Matter of fact, I think I could hit it, pick it up, and throw it, and still not reach the warning track. 2 down, base is empty. Ella White comes up. The offensive depth in this league beyond reproach. Just a one-hop shot to pull. Beautifully played on the backhand. And that's a 1-2-3 inning. Turned in from Schofer. Creighton in a groove. We go bottom 5. Blue Jays up by 4.
5, Butler 1.
Amelia, turn off alarm. Amelia, weather?
70 degrees and sunny today.
Amelia, unlock the door.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Jen.
Why not?
Did you forget something?
My protein shake.
The future isn't scary. Not investing in it is.
You're so dramatic, Amelia.
Bye, Jen.
100 innovative companies, 1 ETF. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
of the 5th inning, Villanova Softball Complex, main line in Pennsylvania, only about a half hour away from Philadelphia, PA. Site of this week's Big East Softball Championship. Back-to-back triple headers coming your way today and tomorrow. Friday as well, and then a champion will be crowned on Saturday. So stick with us, gonna be fun. As Creighton back to work with a 4-run lead. And the heart of the order due up is Lily West ahead of the count 1-0.
I'm curious to see how St. John's and UConn do tomorrow, getting the byes, both coming off big seasons.
This in the air, center field, shallow and playable. Coming forward to make the catch, Conger, one away.
You have the great offense of UConn. What does Peyton Kinney have left in the tank in her 5th year? And Anna Serafinko, the best pitcher in the conference, and a terrific lineup for Michelle DePolo's Red Storm team. And Villanova's won 3 out of the last 4 Big East tournaments. When these big teams go up against each other, Creighton's hot. This is going to be a fun weekend.
Here's Schultz, the other way, into right. Pretty well hit, but right at Lehner, who's there to make the grab, 2 down. And the thing about UConn and St. John's, they needed that day of rest. That was an emotional finale to the regular season, that 3-game set, as St. John's was able to take the regular season crown.
UConn won the first game. St. John's didn't make a play in the field, and we harp on defense a lot in that game 1. Grace Jenkins tied the game in the bottom of the 7th on Sunday in the getaway day, but St. John's won on extras to take the series, and the Red Storm got the #1 seed.
Here's Sydney Potter, has hit it hard twice. A single and a line drive to short. Takes low and inside for ball 1.
Single season RBI records. Grace Jenkins, yes. Sydney Potter, Creighton, yes. Olivia Gilbert, Seton Hall almost made the field. What a team they have. Deserved to be here, just missed out on it last weekend. Single season RBI record for Gilbert. Ella White did it last year, partner. Single season record, RBIs in a season. So we're seeing historic offenses.
The Big East SIDs have been very busy rewriting that record book. And it was this Creighton team that kept Seton Hall from the field this week. 3 one-run victories over the Pirates to close out the regular season. As it's 3 balls and no strikes to Potter. I think that was really good for the Blue Jays. It essentially gave them a taste of the postseason without all the pressure, because they weren't in win-or-go-home mode, but Seton Hall certainly was.
Potter hit a big go-ahead homer on Friday against Seton Hall for the win.
Got a green light, but got under this one. It's taken care of by White, and that will end the 5th frame. But Creighton in control, up by 4. Butler offense will look to mount a rally when we return for Top 6. Put on a show today. Ashton Pearson, as usual, in the middle of everything, turning 2 on a jam job with awkward spin mix. She made it look easy, but that was anything but. One thing to get it out, but to turn 2, flawless.
Creighton's a good team. Everybody knew they were going to have a good year. They brought back pretty much their entire roster. Just a slow start against the Big East. Lost some close games on the road at Providence, then lost 2 heartbreakers here on this field to Villanova, but then they figured it out. Had a big win against UConn and then turned it on in April.
Ball 1 to Ella Dalton. And the culture of this Creighton program kind of got them through that rough patch to start the season in Big East play. They lost so many one-run games. A lot of teams would have put their heads down, and Creighton kind of came together as a group. They always have been tight-knit, and I started playing for each other. As that one missing low, 2 balls and no strikes. And the result was, all of a sudden, it seemed like everybody had a little less pressure on their shoulders. Instead of trying to make the play to win the game, they're just trying to do their job. And it always seems to work out when you do it that way.
I think it just helps in one of those games just to get over the hump, like that UConn win, and then it gets easier from there.
Check swing. Did she go? On appeal, no. And it's 3-0.
Katie Petra did throw a complete game shutout against Creighton last year, so these pitchers are capable of having big games, but everybody's seen everybody. So it's that classic cat and mouse battle, Matt, that we're seeing again.
Get me over pitch. Does not find the zone. 4-pitch free pass. Dalton works a walk to start this bottom half of the penultimate inning.
Now batting for the Blue Jays, number 12, Erica Perez.
So Dalton on for the 2nd time in as many trips. Here comes Perez. We saw the snow cone catch at 3rd base. She's also gotten on base twice and scored both times. And takes low and outside for ball one.
I like what I've seen out of Katie Petrin today. You just have to really credit Creighton's offense. They made good contact against her early in the game. They got Creighton off to a good start. I think her stuff's looked pretty good, although Scott Hall wants to come out and talk about it to keep this game right where it is.
Okay, who normally pitches off her curve and rise, but the changeup has turned into a pretty good pitch for her. She has battled through some leg injuries all season long. She already has surgery scheduled for once the season comes to an end. And Hall talked about how proud the coaching staff has been at the way she's just kind of gutted it out for her team and her teammates. And not only out there, but pitching well and pitching deep into these games down the stretch.
And they're down a pitcher as well, so which means more pressure physically and mentally on Katie Petrin and the rest of the staff.
That one's in for a strike. Our thoughts with Gwen Baker, who's out this week trying to get healthy. And so they give the ball to Petrin in this opener of the Big East Softball Championship. She's down by 4, but she's battled all day. Runner at first, nobody out. Runner goes, pitch line the other way, and it's a fair ball headed for the corner. They're giving the wave around to Dalton. Relay throw to the plate. It's a good one, and she is out at home.
Oh, I think they're asking for obstruction because they got her. I was wondering about the argument there from Ella Dalton that she might have a case. They were playing a no Devils defense, so it was played off the wall really well by Lee Vandehage. She hit the cutoff man really well, so Butler played that correctly. Kind of helped that they had the outfield playing so deep.
Let's watch it again, see if you can see anything as she rounds those bases.
I think it's about obstruction. You can block the plate until you get the ball, unless the ball drifts you there, and I think that's what Ella Dalton is asking about. I don't think that's obstruction at all. I think the ball was clearly taking her one way. I think she just got beat on the play.
Well, if it is at the plate, it's interesting that they would ask for help, and now they're actually going to go take a look on review.
The last play is now.
So obviously every one of these calls is magnified because it's a championship. And it's good that they look at it and that they do review it because you want to get obstruction calls right. But the ball was taking Kylie Ryan out of the base paths, and then she just had to reach back to tag Ella Dalton. So I think they got this call right on the field. I think it's pretty clear cut.
It seemed like great execution from the Butler defense. You talked about playing deep. It didn't matter against Perez. She hit it right through the no doubles defense for a 2-bagger, but a lot of credit as Vandehage got that ball in a hurry and a really good relay throw to the plate. And you can see the conversation. It seems like she's alluding to exactly what you were talking about, Nick, about got to give the path to the runner.
As long as there's a pathway, once you get the ball and you're not blocking the plate, then you're good as a catcher. And the throw took Kylie Ryan off the line, and she got her foot out of the way, so that's not blocking the plate at all.
Give some credit to Dalton. She really tried to sell that without sliding there, was trying to show the umpire, hey, I got no room to get to home. And I think if she slides, she goes right through the foot and might have actually had a chance to be saved.
She probably could have slid here. I totally agree, Matt. Give credit again defensively for playing that deep off defense in the outfield, because if they were playing shallow, it would have been a bigger retreat for Lee Vandehage to gather that ball, and there would have been no play at the plate.
Now, one thing to look at is what did she cheat a little too far for? Is that maybe the crust of the Creighton argument that the throw brought her towards the plate, but did she come too far out in front, taking away the path? We'll see. No, she is out at home. No call by the home plate umpire. And our crew, oh wait, I'm sorry, they overturned it.
The ball has been reversed.
Wow, look at that.
Scores.
Interesting call here.
Well,
I
normally
think
just
Scott Hall has an argument.
normally just point to the plate. Don't give the out signal. He waved off the out and then pointed to the plate, the run scoring. I beg your pardon there on a misinterpretation.
The only thing I can think of is that Kylie Ryan, because she stuck out her leg, not by a whole lot. Normally you think of obstruction as your whole body. Or maybe if you have one limb blocking the plate, that might count. And that's what they probably called, is because her leg was sticking out right at the end, right there. Her right leg. It's not egregious obstruction. And I'm a little surprised they overturned it.
It was as close as they come, but it's an insurance run for Creighton, and it is a 6-1 lead. Another RBI for Erica Perez. Still nobody out in the 6th frame. Got Hall calmly talking with the umpires to get further explanation as to what the review saw. And ball 1 to Hannah Poole.
Both walks have come around to score in the game.
Funny how that works in the postseason, isn't it? They always seem to come back to bite you. That's in for a strike, 1-1.
You're definitely seeing the depth of Creighton's order. Erica Perez out of the 7th spot. It's such a key bat for them.
Lifted left side into foul territory. White is there, and that's out number 1. So with the lead growing, Creighton now gets Abby Rusher, the right-hander, up in the pen. And maybe an opportunity to save an inning.
You have to go toe-to-toe with Anna Serafinko tomorrow if you're Creighton, and you'll definitely welcome that challenge.
Another pop-up, this time right side. Underneath of it is Carter, and 2 away.
You think they'll go 13 innings like they did in Omaha? Took 2 days to complete that?
Well, the good news is we have some lights here, so if it goes that deep, we will have plenty of artificial light. We'll be able to finish it inside of the same day as long as the wet stuff stays away. Mother Nature cooperates.
That was a lightning delay, and these teams last year had a 4-hour delay in Providence in the Big East tournament.
That one just off the outside corner. What the coaches said about that game, it felt like 3 days and 2 different games. It was that long, but it was that much fun. They also said it was thrilling to be a part of, because it was played at such a high level. A bunt, stab, foul. And 1 ball and 1 strike to Sidra Seville. A very emphatic call from Victor Canales, our home plate umpire.
3 more hits for Seville today to take over the Big East lead away from Jess Bianco, who will play tomorrow for St. John's. And Kate Lehner going hitless today for Butler.
Looking like it'll be against this Creighton team. Is that one missing downstairs? 2 balls and a strike.
And Schofer pitched very well against St. John's. No walks, no runs in that 13-inning marathon game that took 2 days.
Bouncer, right side, on the charge, tough play, and they can't get the speedy Seville. Put so much pressure on the defense, and on base yet again.
Boy, that whole time, Matt, I'm saying Seville's going to beat this out, because when you have to hurry, like you said, just by a little bit. And Sydney Carter made a good play on it, but a slight bobble at first by Paige Dorsett, who couldn't quite haul it in there at the end. Other runners, you use your hand, but Carter knew she had to use the glove, so I don't blame Carter. She did the right thing.
Absolutely. Do or die play with Seville speed. No choice whatsoever. And as for a review here, Scott Hall was talking to the umpires while Creighton was making that change, as Nakasawa is going to pinch hit for the Blue Jays.
Mackenzie Nakasawa has come up with some big hits this year for Creighton as a pinch hitter. And they will be reviewing something here. And it might be a first base, potentially.
The last play is now under review.
They're seeing if Cedra Seville kicked the ball. I was thinking slapper rule. You have to have both feet in the box. That's the rule that came into play in 2018.
So we will shortly take another look as well, as the umpires have been busy on the reviews here lately. Here it is. It was clean coming out of the box, and then we'll see what happened at first base.
Looks pretty clean in the batter's box. I don't think Seville hit it onto herself.
So it was that batter's box. Good eye, Nick, and it is confirmed. So runners at first and third as this inning continues.
The great staff here told me what they were reviewing.
So the aforementioned Nagasawa will get an opportunity. She was active in that regular season series against Butler. She scored 5 runs and had a couple of hits against the Bulldogs. Runner breaks from first. They will throw down. It's a good one, and out at second base is Seville. Well, the Butler coaching staff said you can't run on Kylie Ryan, and she made those words prophetic. But Creighton adding to the lead, scoring another run. Blue Jays up by 5 despite the defense. Well, Creighton had Abby Rusher loosening last inning in the bullpen, but they're going to let Kenzie Schofer try to finish this one off. Right, he has been magnificent, holding Butler to just a single score on 4 hits through 6 innings. 3 outs away, new second baseman in as Megan McCutcheon enters defensively for Creighton, and high and inside is Sydney Carter to start the top half of the final frame.
Schofer has 76 pitches, 45 strikes, and she's only walked 2.
She has pitched deep into games time and time again down the stretch as this one hit sharply. What a play on the awkward hop. McCutcheon can't get the out at first base. Tried to get her from her derriere on a terrible hop and almost made a miraculous defensive play.
Nice job. Ball might have went one way, or she thought it was going the other, and then tried to make the play from the ground. Comes in as a defensive replacement, and I think they might have gotten her there.
Well, Creighton has challenged twice today.
So they're out of challenges.
We'll see if that comes back to bite them with a runner at first. Nobody out. Kylie Ryan, the batter. What an effort from McCutcheon as this one is drilled into left, and it's going to go right to Barnard, who makes the catch. Well, actually, misread by my part. A little bit off the end of the bat, and that's 1 down.
And Lynn Davis comes back into play left with McCutcheon playing second now for the Blue Jays. Kylie Ryan has struck out twice, so a chance for her to maybe put it in play there. You need base runners if you're Butler.
Smart defensive change as this one popped foul out of play, third base side, strike 1.
Now, Scott Hall said how important Lee Vandehei is as an extension, like a lot of 9-hitters, to roll the lineup over. Vandehei's 0 for 2. She's had a big year. If she can get on base, that could set things up for Lehner and the top of their order.
This one hit sharply into left center field for a base hit. So there's Vandehei on cue. Getting a hit, second of this final frame, and Butler not going to go down without a fuss, trailing by 5, but 2 on with only 1 down.
That's why that insurance run in the bottom half of the 6th was paramount for Creighton.
If they can get Lehner going, important not only for a potential rally in this final inning, but if Butler does fall, they got to play again later today. Here's a slapper to short, club by Pearson, steps on third, can't turn 2 against the speed of Lehner, but Kate Laner's got to find a way to avoid Ashton Pearson.
The recognition and the clock for Ashton Pearson. Matt, you said making it look easy. She grabbed that ball and went to third in the blink of an eye. That was an incredible play by Ashton Pearson.
She knows what pitch is coming. She knows the tendencies of the hitters, and she cheats a little, and then her athleticism just does the rest, as that's outside to Haley Conger. As Butler down to its last chance here, the top half of the final frame, trailing by 5.
That's an infield hit when you're playing against some other teams, but when you have Pearson out there as your shortstop, good luck.
2 balls, no strikes to Conger. It's probably an infield hit about against most of the teams in the Big East, too. No insult to the other infielders. That's just a really high degree of difficulty on the play. Playing that shallow against that type of speed, as that is outside, ball 3. That's the last thing you want to do here if you're Chauffeur.
And Laner went 7 for 11 in the Creighton series. She's 0 for 4 today. You can't swing here if you're Conger. You need base runners.
No doubt. In for a strike, 3-1.
And I think you need another take sign. You have Elle White, who's your best RBI kid in the history of the program.
Still need 2 more to get the tying run to the plate, as that's fouled away, and Butler is down to its final strike.
You need to get Elle White in at bat here. That might have been ball 4.
Runners will get a head start. Chauffeur trying to close this one out. The payoff. Bouncer up the middle, has highs into center field for a hit. Van de Heide comes around to score. RBI single Haley Conger, and Butler back within 4, and now the tying run in the on-deck circle.
That was a big at-bat by Conger. She got ahead. Most of the Butler kids have been behind today facing Kenzie Chauffeur. Worked the count, and then got a good pitch to hit. Infield was drawn in against a slap-type hitter. If the infield's back, then maybe they make a play on it. So you catch a break there based on the alignment.
But the infield's back with the way she bunts. Who knows what happens? Here's Ella White, and taking upstairs. Again, Butler still needs another base runner just to get the tying run to the plate. White's done a good job getting on base today. Legged out an infield single and worked a walk.
27 homers, 3rd in school history, all-time RBI leader.
It's a sharply into left field for a base hit. Laner being waved around, throw is cut off, and this is a 3-run game with a tying run coming plateward. And White breaks another Butler record, another run batted in. And this one comes in a huge spot to give the Bulldogs an opportunity.
She was tied with the RBI record. I was already giving it to her. She already met the mark. Now it's all hers, the record.
Here's Paige Dorsett, such a big part of the program. Has power, but takes a strike, 0-1. 3rd season as a full-time starter for the Bulldogs. Her 162nd career start here this afternoon. What a huge opportunity as she bounces it left side. Pearson again, and it's only fitting that's the way this one finishes. Ashton Pearson putting on a show defensively, and the Creighton Blue Jays take the opener of this Big East softball championship, beating Butler 6-3. They'll go tomorrow to face St. John's. Butler still has work to do today. They'll take on the loser of our next game, Villanova and Providence. Good game, though, to get it started. What are your final thoughts today, Nick?
Butler makes a nice comeback there in the 7th inning. Ella White gets the RBI record all to herself as they brought the tying run to the plate. Don't hang your head. It's double elimination. You get a chance to play later. You regather and see how you do. And Katie Petrick, will she pitch tonight? We're going to find out later on.
A winner-go-home mode for Butler. They will have to take a break, watch the next game, and see who their opponent will be. It'll be Villanova and Providence coming up a little bit more than an hour from now. Creighton jumping all over Butler right away. The defense sparkling, the offense opportunistic. Blue Jays win it 6-3. And they move on to the winner's side. Will take on St. John's tomorrow. For Nick Montaigne and our entire Big East digital crew, I'm Matt Janis. We'll talk to you for Game 2 of our triple header in just a little bit.